Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about hyped up fragrances, kind of the new releases that are out and what my thoughts are, whether I think that they're worth the price tag or not. So let's get into it. The first fragrance, I've mentioned it a couple times, but I really want to give you my full thoughts on it, and it is the Fenty Eau de Parfum. I think it's been out for a couple of years actually, but they kind of did a relaunch for some reason last year. But now it's in store and you can actually smell it. So I wanted to weigh in and give you my thoughts on what I think of the fragrance. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, this one is amazing. Like, I love it. I love this fragrance. Now, the reason why I love it is because it has this delectable blueberry note in it that I find stays pretty much the whole entire wear of the fragrance. Now, where sometimes blueberry can get a little candy-esque, this smells like a delicious blueberry, kind of blueberry / boozy syrup. It is so good. It's paired with tangerine. And what I love is whenever you pair a blueberry with something a little bit acidic. So I love blueberry lemon desserts, for instance. So when you have that blueberry and you pair it with the tangerine, it's going to taste really mouthwatering because kind of the warmth of the blueberry is going to be offset by the citrus kind of acid feel. A little bit brighter aspect of the tangerine. So it just kind of balances it and kind of makes it, it's like adding salt to something where it kind of makes the flavor pop. That's what the tangerine is kind of doing for that blueberry. It's got rose, geranium, and magnolia. I get more of the rose, but really it's that blueberry note that I come back for every time. It has musk and patchouli in the base. I don't notice a whole lot of muskiness. I notice a little bit of depth that the patchouli adds, but I don't find that it's overpowering at all. It's just a freaking awesome fragrance. I think it's sophisticated. A lot of times people see brands like Fenty, they think Rihanna, they think celebrity. I don't think of a celebrity fragrance. When you're smelling this, you're smelling a really sophisticated, luscious fragrance. Now, I was also impressed with the longevity, and I just really enjoy that freaking blueberry. Like, it blows my mind. It's so awesome. The price tag on this one, it's pretty high. Like, I think it's 180 Canadian for, I think it's a 75 ml bottle. That's comparable to a lot of designer fragrances these days. So it's not outlandish. If you think of it as a celebrity fragrance, it's outlandish. This is not a celebrity fragrance. Fenty is now a brand, a legit brand of Rihanna. This is not a celebrity fragrance that she's putting out. It would be in the same category to me as a designer, but to me, it's a lot more unique than designer fragrances. So this one, definitely on my wish list. Like, I want it yesterday, man. So good. And as you can guess, this one is worth the hype. All the way, it's worth the hype. The next fragrance I want to talk about is Prada's Paradoxe Intense. I know that Paradoxe has had major hype. I do not like that fragrance. To me, it's not worth the hype at all. For me, I just find it to be the typical designer smelling fragrance. Bit of a fruity floral. It just didn't wow me in any way, shape, or form. What I found is the more fragrances that you smell, the harder it becomes to be impressed by a fragrance. So when I see a new release, it's got to be something that's unique. So for instance, Libre by YSL, I'm not a fan of those fragrances, but I do appreciate the uniqueness and the niche that they kind of fill in the designer market for something a little bit different. But Paradoxe to me was just your typical fruity floral. Lots of people really enjoyed it, and I get it. Like, I get why you'd enjoy it. For me, I like the opening, but the dry down, not so much. So I thought, well, I'll try the Paradoxe Intense. I'm happy to say that I definitely liked that one better. So to me, there was a bit more depth. Definitely came across quite vanillic, which I'm really enjoying these days. But the main thing that I smelt off the cuff is that pear that comes out. So essentially it was a fruity vanilla. Like, the florals are still there, but I feel like the vanilla is definitely amped up. The pear was nice, and I really enjoy pear in a fragrance, but to me, it was a little bit same thing, kind of just your standard designer fragrance. So was it nice? Yes. Is it my cup of tea? Not necessarily. And at first I'm like, oh, wow, this is definitely awesome. Oh, I love this. But as it dried down, somehow it just doesn't work on my skin. I don't quite understand that. Like I find that with Prada Paradoxe, My Way, any of the Enquiries from YSL, none of those fragrances really work for me. Like they don't work with my skin chemistry. So this one was similar. It smelled really amazing to begin with, but then as it dried down, oh, it wasn't as exciting to me. It still wasn't terrible, but it wasn't enough that I would want to purchase it. That said, if you're a fan of the line, definitely go sniff it because the vanilla in it is really nice. I thought it was a really solid perfume, just not my cup of tea. So is it worth the hype? If you like that Paradoxe, definitely smell it. And my guess is it's really worth the hype. For me, not worth the hype. The next fragrance is Tutti Twilly by Hermes. Now, I was really excited to try this one. I really like the Twilly Ginger one. Love that one. It's my favorite one. I really find that the Twilly line is a very nice line. So they smell quite luxurious and rich, sophisticated, a little bit mature, but really beautiful fragrances. I used to have the original Twilly. I gave it to my friend Lori because I just never used it. Even though it was nice, I rarely used it. The Au Pauvre, like that one. The ginger one, definitely really enjoy it. So I was excited to try the Tutti one. Now, on Fragrantica, the notes that they show are lychee, ginger, and musk. To me, what it smells like is tropical fruits. So like a big, huge mosh in the opening of tropical fruit, like Tutti Frutti. Tutti Frutti on Rudy. Like you get that Tutti Frutti feel. Like seriously, Tutti Frutti. You get that. They nailed it. So I was out with Hesse, and what I've learned about myself, I love going with my friends, my sister, to go sniff perfumes. But inevitably, I'm high on life when I'm hanging out with people. And so everything smells amazing to me. So I put the Tutti Twilly on. First of all, the name makes me laugh, Tutti Twilly. But I put it on and I was like, this is amazing. Like I just like freaked out, like mind blown. So awesome. And like I hype myself right up, and I find I do that like when I've gone with Lori and my sister, same thing. Like I'm like hyped right up, and this is the best thing I've ever smelled. So I always will go back on my own to smell it when I'm a little bit more calm, because I'm always like, how, I want to have fun, and it's just like, it's great. It's another perfume. Woohoo! Freaky. Like, it's like it's like a party in the store at Sephora. Like I can really live it up, trying on fragrances. Anyway, so I went back and I tried it. Now, first of all, what I noticed was definitely the Tutti Frutti feel is there. But I definitely got the DNA of the Twilly line. So that DNA, if you know the DNA, you know what I mean, definitely present, but with that kind of tropical fruit kind of feel in the opening. And that feel stays for quite a long time. So I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great fragrance for spring and summer. So like if you are somewhere in the Southern Hemisphere going into your summer, definitely give that one a go. Like try it, sniff it. For here, it's definitely one that I would wait until spring and summer. I'm not sure. The jury's still out on that one. Really liked it, but I don't love it. But it's really cool, and I love the bottle. So I'll probably buy a travel spray of it, but I don't know if I'd buy a full bottle. What about you? Have you tried Tutti Twilly yet? If not, definitely go sniff it. It's definitely worth sniffing for sure. If you like those fruity, kind of tutti frutti smells, it's definitely one to check out for sure. I think it's great for spring and summer, so I'm going to revisit it then, but for now, I'm not going to buy it. Now, the next fragrance I want to talk about is the 7 Virtues Cherry Ambition fragrance. My favorite out of the 7 Virtues line is the Blackberry and Lily, I believe it's called. I know a lot of people like the Vanilla Woods. I like the Blackberry and Lily. What I find with Seven Virtues, they're kind of a clean brand, really appreciate their ethics, but I don't find that the fragrances are overly long lasting. And that's what I found with Cherry Ambition. Now, Cherry Ambition is probably the most hyped up fragrance in this whole entire lineup. Like, I hear nothing except Cherry Ambition, Cherry Ambition, Cherry Ambition on Instagram, TikTok, places like that. To me, it's really underwhelming. It's just another Tom Ford type cherry note. So although that accord is really amazing, I don't need another one. I've got lots of dupes of the Tom Ford Lost Cherry. I don't need another dupe. And not that it's exactly like that, but it's got that kind of boozy cherry in it. It's a nice fragrance, but the biggest issue for me is that the longevity is really, really, like, it's fleeting. So it feels like an eau de toilette or a cologne as opposed to a perfume. It's definitely a better price than something like a Tom Ford Lost Cherry. So I'm not saying that it's not a nice fragrance. I just find that the longevity is poor on it and there's nothing unique about it. So yeah, I'm kind of shocked at how pumped up some fragrances get when they're really just another version of something that we've already smelt. That's one of the things I liked about the TUTTI TWILLY. I haven't smelt anything like that. The Paradoxe one, I've smelt fragrances that are kind of similar. The TUTTI TWILLY, that's a little bit new. I like the fact that they've put a new twist on. It's a flanker, but they put a new twist on it, and definitely something that I haven't smelt on the market. But Cherry Ambition, for me, it lacks creativity, whereas something like their Blackberry Lily fragrance, to me, that's got a luscious blackberry note, and that one is a lot more unique. This one's not unique at all. For that reason, it's not worth the hype to me at all. The last fragrance I want to talk about is Ginger Biscuit by Jo Malone. So I was excited. This was actually in our Sephora in West Edmonton Mall, so I got to actually try it on skin, and it is just awesome. So I happen to really enjoy ginger in fragrances. So it's got ginger, there's some caramel, there's some cinnamon. It really does feel like a gingerbread biscuit. And the ginger is definitely prominent, and it's a spicy ginger. So I really, really enjoy that ginger kick. It would smell like a gingerbread cookie that's a little bit spicy, like a little bit hot. From the ginger, kind of like that. So that ginger is definitely present, but so is that kind of warm baking feel. So I loved that fragrance. I thought it was really gorgeous. Now the problem with that one is it is a cologne, so the longevity isn't great on it, but it is definitely one that I think is worth the hype. I love the bottle on it. I love the smell of the fragrance, like love it. So it's definitely one. It's pretty pricey though. I think it's like $225 or something like that. Of course, I think that's 100 mils. So love, love, love the fragrance. The only issue with it is the longevity. So I thought to myself, well, can I create something like that? So I've got Spice Bomb by JUS Perfumes, and that's massive ginger, cardamom, like all of those same kind of ingredients. So I mixed it with Vanilla Cashmere by EOS, the lotion, and then I used Chabot Lait de Biscuit, the biscuit fragrance. Anyway, it smells like cookies, like just cookies. So that gave me kind of a similar vibe, but it's not balanced the same way. So Spice Bomb is really like, and the longevity on that fragrance is crazy train. So if you want something that's similar, you can definitely layer things. Like you could mix something like Spice Bomb or any sort of ginger. I thought about trying TWILLY au Gingre by Hermes, trying that with something like a biscuit or a cookies and cream fragrance to see if I could get something that's similar. I can get something that's similar that lasts longer, but nothing is going to be quite like that ginger biscuit smell that Jo Malone has. So definitely worth the hype, definitely worth smelling. Wish the longevity was better, but it is just a cologne. So, you know, it's just a really pricey cologne, but really, really good. Like, I love it. What it really made me long for though have any of you guys smelt Red Brit by Burberry? So it came out, I don't know, probably close to 20 years ago. Red Brit, it was like, there was definitely a gingerbread note in it. It was very sweet, but I loved it. And then I kind of got sick of it because I wore it so much. Like, I was so addicted to it. Same thing, like I bought that with my sister Brunelle and we're like, oh, this is so amazing. And it really was, like, I loved it. And we'd wear it at the same time and we just thought it was the greatest thing ever. But then I kind of got sick of it, so I gave it away, and I really regret it because, oh, I miss the gingerbread note in that fragrance. So the ginger biscuit kind of reminded me of that. It wasn't quite as sweet. It was a little bit more spicy than Burberry Brit Red. Love the Jo Malone ginger biscuit. Like, it is so, so awesome. I would just spray the crap out of it and rock it. Like, and it would be such a great fragrance for, you know, Christmas and for the winter. Like, warm, cozy, amazing, delicious, love it. So anyway, definitely worth the hype. Out of all these fragrances, my two top ones for sure are the Fenty and Ginger Biscuit. I'm not sure which one I love the most. Probably the Fenty, because the longevity was better on it. You can't compare them. They're both so different, but loved both of them. Major pass is the Cherry Ambition. Prada Intense. If you like that line, you're gonna like that fragrance. And the TUTTI TWILLY, it was nice. It wasn't as nice the second time when I smelt it. And that's why I also think it's always great to go in and actually try fragrances a couple times. I usually will try a fragrance 3 times before I'll actually make a decision to buy it, because I really want to know that I love it. They're expensive, so I want to really know that I love it before I'm taking the plunge. That said, Fenty and Ginger Biscuit, I know that I love those for sure. What about you? Do you have any favorites from this list? If so, weigh in. If you've tried them, tell me what your thoughts are, even if you disagree with me. I love hearing your thoughts, and so does everybody else. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.